Long before it was cast aside, the Book of Enoch was revered by many. Written in a time of mystical awakening, it spoke of heavenly visions, cosmic battles, and forbidden knowledge that reached far beyond human comprehension. It wasn't just a book, it was a portal to another realm, revealing a cosmic map that intertwined angels, giants, and celestial forces. But what made it so dangerous? The Book of Enoch unveils a shocking cosmic conspiracy, one where angels, sent to observe the earth, descend and break divine law. Their forbidden union with human women gives birth to the Nephilim, giants of unimaginable power. These fallen beings were not just physical anomalies, but spiritual disruptors, threatening to rewrite the order of the universe itself. This was not just a story of rebellion, it was a blueprint of hidden knowledge, teaching us that the heavens were not distant, cold entities but living forces intertwined with our destiny. These revelations were too much for the leaders of the time. The Book of Enoch, with its power to awaken minds and challenge established authority, became a threat to the very foundation of religious power. As Christianity solidified its doctrines, it became clear, the Book of Enoch was dangerous. Its vision of a world beyond the material, where spiritual forces shaped our lives and destiny, was too radical, too unsettling for the controlling religious authorities to accept. So, they silenced it, hiding its truths in the shadows, ensuring it remained out of reach for centuries. But why? What was so threatening about its knowledge? And what did the early church fear so much that they would go to such lengths to erase it from history? As we delve deeper into the Book of Enoch, we will unlock its mysteries, confront its paradoxes, and uncover the unspoken reasons it was erased. From divine secrets to cosmic warfare, we will piece together the truth about the spiritual battle that's been raging throughout time, and how the Book of Enoch holds the key to understanding it all. To truly understand why the Book of Enoch was banned from the Bible, we must first journey back in time to a period shrouded in mystery. It is a time when ancient civilizations flourished, when the lines between the earthly and the divine were blurred, and when knowledge was both revered and feared. The Book of Enoch, often called the Ethiopian Book of Enoch, was written long before the rise of Christianity, yet its influence stretched through the ancient world, leaving an indelible mark on the religious and spiritual landscape. The book itself is traditionally attributed to Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah, a man who, according to the Bible, walked with God. Enoch's story, though brief in the canonical scriptures, suggests a man who possessed knowledge beyond his time, a visionary who saw beyond the material realm and gazed into the very heart of creation. The Book of Enoch is said to be a collection of his revelations, prophecies, and divine teachings, an intricate tapestry woven together by both celestial and earthly wisdom. But this book, unlike the texts that made it into the Bible, did not survive the test of time unscathed. It was largely excluded from the Jewish and Christian canons, relegated to the shadows of forbidden knowledge. Why? What was so dangerous about Enoch's revelations that early religious authorities felt compelled to remove them from the sacred texts? To answer these questions, we must understand the historical context in which this decision was made. The Book of Enoch was well known in Jewish circles during the Second Temple period, around 200 BCE to 100 CE. The ancient Jewish people, at the height of their spiritual and intellectual pursuit, were exploring the deepest mysteries of existence. During this time, apocalyptic literature, texts that offered glimpses into the end of days, divine judgment, and the nature of the cosmos, was at its peak. Enoch's visions, which include detailed descriptions of angels, the fall of the Watchers, celestial beings who descended to earth, and the judgment of the fallen, resonated deeply with the people of this era. However, these visions went far beyond the orthodox views of monotheism and the conventional teachings of the time. The Book of Enoch introduced complex ideas about the nature of angels, the role of heavenly beings in the affairs of humanity, and the ultimate fate of the wicked, concepts that were not fully embraced by the emerging religious orthodoxy. In fact, some scholars believe that the book's depiction of the Watchers and their illicit unions with human women, giving rise to the Nephilim, giant, hybrid beings, was seen as a direct challenge to the established theological order. The influence of this book extended far beyond Judaism, however. Early Christian writings, particularly the New Testament, show evidence of Enoch's ideas, with references to his visions and prophecies appearing in the writings of Peter, Jude, and others. The Book of Enoch was clearly part of the intellectual fabric of the time. So why, then, did it fall out of favor with the Church? The answer lies in the complex relationship between emerging Christianity and the texts that were considered sacred. As the early Church sought to solidify its authority and define its theological identity, it faced a difficult decision: which texts would be deemed sacred and which would be excluded? The Book of Enoch posed a challenge. Its content was both visionary and dangerous, presenting ideas that could destabilize the nascent Christian doctrine. The concept of fallen angels, the divine judgment, and the direct interaction between celestial beings and humanity might have been seen as threatening to the Church's control over the spiritual narrative of the time. The decision to exclude the Book of Enoch was not just about theology, it was about power. By controlling the sacred texts, early Church leaders ensured that the narrative of humanity's divine origins and the nature of the cosmos remained firmly in their hands. Enoch's visions, with their complex and mystical portrayal of the divine order, were simply too radical, too disruptive, for a Church that sought to establish itself as the sole authority on spiritual truth. But the Book of Enoch did not disappear completely. It continued to exist in secret, preserved by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, which included it in its canon. For centuries, it remained largely unknown to the wider world, its mysteries locked away. Even when it resurfaced in the 18th century, with the discovery of ancient manuscripts in Ethiopia, the book's true significance was still clouded in mystery. Thus, the Book of Enoch became not just a forgotten text but a symbol of the ancient knowledge that has always existed on the fringes of religious thought, a knowledge that continues to challenge, provoke, and inspire. It is a testament to the hidden wisdom that has been guarded, protected, and sometimes suppressed throughout history. The question remains, why was this knowledge so dangerous? What did the Book of Enoch reveal that others sought to conceal? As we delve deeper into the Book of Enoch, we will uncover the hidden truths that have been buried beneath centuries of silence and suppression. Stay with us as we unravel the core of this enigmatic book and explore its profound, and at times unsettling, revelations. To understand why the Book of Enoch was so controversial, we must delve into the heart of its revelations. Unlike other ancient texts, the Book of Enoch unveils knowledge that is both celestial and earthly, offering a profound cosmology that connects the divine to the human experience. This knowledge is not merely intellectual, it is spiritual, metaphysical, and intensely transformative. One of the most striking aspects of the Book of Enoch is its detailed account of the Watchers, a group of angels who descended to earth and took human wives. This act, forbidden by divine law, led to the birth of the Nephilim, a race of giants whose very existence was seen as a corruption of the natural order. The Watchers, bound by their desire for human women, shared forbidden knowledge with humanity. This included secrets of heaven and earth, wisdom on astrology, metallurgy, cosmetics, and even the occult arts. In many ways, the Watchers are portrayed as rebellious figures, disobeying God's command to remain in the heavens and instead teaching humanity the arts that could unlock hidden powers. The Book of Enoch presents these teachings as dangerous, yet awe-inspiring. The angels gave humanity the tools to manipulate the forces of nature, yet this power came with a price. The Nephilim, born of the union between the Watchers and humans, were giants, mighty and terrifying, but their existence was a direct affront to God's design. Their strength and knowledge led to chaos and destruction, ultimately culminating in a divine judgment that would reshape the world. This concept of forbidden knowledge is a recurring theme in many spiritual traditions, from the Greek myth of Prometheus to the biblical story of Adam and Eve. In all these stories, the acquisition of knowledge leads to both enlightenment and suffering. The Book of Enoch takes this theme even further, portraying the Watchers as the bringers of a wisdom that, while transformative, is also perilous. The celestial beings were not merely messengers of God's will but agents who sought to impart a deeper, more dangerous knowledge, one that was not meant for humanity. Yet, it wasn't just the forbidden teachings of the Watchers that made the Book of Enoch so controversial. It was the prophecy of divine judgment that followed their rebellion. The text describes how the fallen angels, bound and imprisoned, would face judgment by the Almighty. The Book of Enoch speaks of the coming apocalypse, a cataclysmic event where the earth would be purged of evil and the righteous would be rewarded. This apocalyptic vision was not just a prophecy of the end times, it was a warning to humanity, a reminder of the consequences of embracing knowledge that was never meant to be known. The imagery in the Book of Enoch is vivid and awe-inspiring. Enoch is shown as a celestial traveler, journeying through the heavens and receiving visions of the universe's true order. He sees the secrets of the stars, the movements of the heavenly bodies, and the hidden realms where angels and demons reside. These visions are filled with mystery, revealing the interconnectedness of all things, from the highest heavens to the deepest pits of the earth. It is through Enoch that we are given a glimpse into the spiritual realms, a knowledge that is both esoteric and sacred. The text also delves into the themes of judgment and divine retribution. The Book of Enoch describes in haunting detail the fate of those who have strayed from the divine path, whether they are the fallen angels or the wicked men of the earth. The message is clear: knowledge, when misused, brings destruction. The text warns that humanity, in its pursuit of forbidden wisdom, risks its own spiritual downfall. This message of judgment and punishment, so stark and uncompromising, would have been deeply unsettling to those in power, both in religious and secular circles. But why did this knowledge strike fear into the hearts of religious authorities? The answer lies in the very nature of the Book of Enoch. It offered a view of the divine that was not only more complex but also more personal. The Book of Enoch placed the responsibility for understanding the cosmos and the divine directly in the hands of the individual. Unlike other religious texts that emphasize obedience to divine authority, the Book of Enoch suggests that humans can access the divine directly through spiritual insight, visionary experiences, and the pursuit of hidden knowledge. This idea, that humanity could transcend the limitations imposed by religious hierarchy and approach the divine on their own terms, posed a direct challenge to the established religious order. By placing such transformative power in the hands of the individual, the Book of Enoch undermined the authority of the church and the clergy, who held sway over spiritual matters. The book's apocalyptic visions, its revelations of secret knowledge, and its warnings about the dangers of rebellion all pointed to a reality where human beings were not merely subjects to divine will but active participants in the cosmic drama of creation. The Book of Enoch also introduces a highly symbolic, mystical approach to spirituality. It speaks of the realms beyond the physical world, of angels who control the forces of nature, and of a divine judgment that is not only cosmic but deeply personal. This spiritual vision was far more intricate and mysterious than the straightforward teachings of the early Christian Church, which focused on salvation through faith alone. Enoch's teachings invited readers to embark on a deeper spiritual journey, one filled with visions, revelations, and the exploration of hidden truths. This mystical and transformative vision of the divine world is perhaps the most compelling reason why the Book of Enoch was suppressed. It offered a direct connection to the divine that did not require intermediaries, rituals, or institutional control. It was a book of personal empowerment, a guide to navigating the mysteries of the universe, to understanding the hidden forces that shape our lives. And for a church that sought to maintain power over the spiritual lives of its followers, such a text was far too dangerous to allow into the hands of the masses. The question, then, becomes, what was lost when the Book of Enoch was removed from the Bible? What mysteries, what truths, did this ancient text hold that could have shaped the spiritual destiny of humanity in ways we are only beginning to understand? As we journey deeper into the Book of Enoch, we find that its revelations are far from simple or straightforward. The text is filled with paradoxes, truths that challenge conventional thinking, offering a vision of the cosmos that is both hauntingly beautiful and terrifyingly complex. It is not merely a story of angels and humans, it is a blueprint for understanding the profound interconnectedness of all things, from the celestial realms to the human soul. One of the most enigmatic aspects of the Book of Enoch is its portrayal of the Watcher angels and their interactions with humanity. These angels, sent by God to observe the earth, descend to the human realm and, in a moment of cosmic defiance, take human wives. This act, forbidden by divine decree, leads to the birth of the Nephilim, giants who walk the earth, straddling the line between the divine and the mortal. These Nephilim are not merely physical beings but embody a deeper spiritual paradox. They are symbols of both humanity's potential for greatness and its capacity for corruption. The existence of the Nephilim, as depicted in the Book of Enoch, suggests a fundamental challenge to the natural order. These beings are not only physically immense but spiritually potent, possessing knowledge that could reshape the world. Yet their very existence is a violation of the divine plan, a breach that must be corrected through divine judgment. The Book of Enoch reveals that the Watchers, in their attempt to elevate humanity, instead sowed chaos and destruction. Their actions become a cautionary tale, a warning that the pursuit of forbidden knowledge, no matter how noble the intentions, often leads to unintended consequences. In the grand narrative of the Book of Enoch, the fall of the Watchers is not merely a punishment for disobedience, it is a moment of profound cosmic imbalance. The divine order, once disrupted, must be restored. This restoration comes through the celestial intervention of God, who sends archangels, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel, to bind the Watchers and their fallen offspring, the Nephilim, in preparation for the ultimate judgment. The cosmic struggle between divine law and rebellious knowledge mirrors the ongoing human conflict between the quest for wisdom and the dangers of overreaching. Yet, within the Book of Enoch, there is a deeper mystery. While the punishment of the Watchers and the Nephilim is certain, their actions also serve a higher purpose. Through their fall, a new knowledge is imparted to humanity, a knowledge that is not easily accessible and requires wisdom and discernment to wield correctly. The Book of Enoch itself becomes a mirror to this knowledge, reflecting the duality of wisdom, that which can elevate the soul and that which can destroy it. The text also provides an intricate map of the cosmos, detailing not just the earth but the heavens and the underworld. Enoch's journey through these realms, guided by angelic beings, reveals the structure of the universe, where celestial bodies are not mere physical objects but represent the spiritual forces that govern existence. The stars, the moon, the sun, they are not simply heavenly lights, but living entities, each with a purpose in the divine scheme of things. This view of the cosmos challenges the prevailing, materialistic perspective of the universe. In the Book of Enoch, the heavens are a vast, living system, governed by spiritual laws that are intimately connected to human affairs. The text suggests that the stars and the movements of the celestial bodies are not just random phenomena but part of a grand cosmic order that reflects the spiritual journey of humanity. This knowledge, though profound, is dangerous in its implications. It suggests that humans are not merely passive observers of the universe but active participants in the spiritual drama that unfolds above and below. Another critical aspect of the Book of Enoch is its vision of the final judgment, the eschatological end that awaits humanity. The text is filled with vivid descriptions of a coming apocalypse, where the wicked are punished, and the righteous are rewarded. But this judgment is not just a future event, it is a process that unfolds throughout history. The Book of Enoch suggests that the divine order is not static but is constantly in motion, and that humanity's actions, our choices, our relationship to knowledge, to the divine, to one another, shape the course of this judgment. What is most intriguing about this vision of judgment is that it is not solely about punishment. It is also about purification. The Book of Enoch teaches that the divine judgment is a necessary step in the process of spiritual evolution. The wicked must be purged from the world, but this purging serves a higher purpose. It prepares the earth and its inhabitants for the ultimate revelation of divine truth. In this sense, the Book of Enoch presents the apocalypse not as an end but as a new beginning, a cosmic reset where the forces of light triumph over darkness, and humanity ascends to a higher spiritual state. But there is yet another layer of mystery within the Book of Enoch, the notion of hidden knowledge. The text itself suggests that not all can comprehend the revelations contained within it. Enoch, as the seer of these truths, is chosen by God to witness these mysteries, but the knowledge is not meant for all. This raises a profound question: is there a hidden spiritual elite, chosen to understand and wield this wisdom, while others are left in the dark? And if so, what role does the seeker play in this spiritual hierarchy? The Book of Enoch forces us to confront the tension between knowledge and power. Knowledge, in its most sacred form, is not just about understanding the world but about transforming the self. The text invites us to question our relationship to wisdom. Are we willing to seek it out, even when it challenges the established order? Are we prepared to confront the darkness within ourselves, as Enoch did, in order to bring about the spiritual rebirth of the world? The Book of Enoch, with its profound revelations, becomes a symbol of the eternal tension between divine law and human free will, between knowledge and ignorance, between light and darkness. Its banishment from the Bible is not merely the suppression of a text, it is the suppression of a way of thinking, a way of seeing the world that questions the very foundations of spiritual and earthly authority. And so, we are left with a final, haunting question: what would our world look like if we dared to embrace the knowledge contained within the Book of Enoch? What truths would we uncover, and what would be the cost of seeking such forbidden wisdom? Now that we have explored the profound and often unsettling revelations of the Book of Enoch, we must turn our attention to how these ancient teachings can be applied in our modern world. While the text speaks of apocalyptic events and celestial punishments, its core message is one of transformation, both personal and collective. The wisdom contained within the Book of Enoch offers us the opportunity to elevate our consciousness, to connect more deeply with the divine, and to navigate the mysteries of existence with greater clarity and purpose. But with this knowledge comes responsibility. For those brave enough to walk the path of forbidden wisdom, there are practical steps to be taken, rituals, exercises, and inner practices that can help unlock the hidden truths of the universe. One of the first and most important lessons of the Book of Enoch is the necessity of spiritual discernment. The Watchers, in their descent to earth, gave humanity powerful knowledge, yet this knowledge was not without danger. The key to accessing the hidden wisdom of the Book of Enoch lies in our ability to discern between that which elevates the soul and that which leads to destruction. To harness the wisdom of Enoch, we must learn to listen to the inner voice of wisdom, to cultivate a deep sense of spiritual awareness, and to distinguish between what is truly divine and what is merely a temptation of the ego. One of the most powerful practices we can adopt from the Book of Enoch is the cultivation of spiritual discernment. In the text, Enoch is chosen to witness the divine mysteries because of his purity of heart and his unwavering commitment to spiritual truth. If we wish to unlock the hidden wisdom of the cosmos, we too must cultivate this inner purity, an openness to divine revelation and a willingness to see beyond the illusions of the material world. To begin this process, start by engaging in regular spiritual practices such as meditation, prayer, or contemplation. These practices help quiet the mind and attune the soul to higher frequencies. In particular, focus on developing your intuition, the inner knowing that arises from deep within your being. The Book of Enoch reminds us that knowledge is not always external. Sometimes, the greatest wisdom lies within. Through daily spiritual practices, you will begin to sharpen your ability to discern the truth in all things, just as Enoch did. Another key lesson from the Book of Enoch is the importance of aligning oneself with the divine order of the universe. The text presents a vision of the cosmos as an intricate and interconnected system, where everything has a purpose and is governed by spiritual laws. This cosmic order is not arbitrary, it reflects the divine will, which we must seek to understand and live in harmony with. One way to align with this divine order is through the study of sacred geometry, astrology, and other ancient systems that reveal the hidden patterns of the universe. The Book of Enoch speaks of the movement of celestial bodies and the role of angels in maintaining the cosmic balance. By understanding these ancient systems, we can better attune ourselves to the spiritual currents that flow through the world around us. For example, consider the practice of astrology, which is an ancient tool for understanding the influences of the planets and stars on our lives. Through the study of your astrological birth chart, you can gain insight into your unique place in the cosmic order and the spiritual lessons you are meant to learn in this lifetime. Similarly, sacred geometry, such as the study of the flower of life, the golden ratio, or the Fibonacci spiral, can help you see the underlying patterns of creation and guide you in aligning your life with these universal principles. The Book of Enoch teaches us that the Watchers, despite their fall, brought humanity profound wisdom. They introduced teachings that could unlock our potential and reveal the deeper mysteries of existence. Yet, as with all powerful knowledge, there is a responsibility that comes with it. The Book of Enoch warns that not all knowledge is meant to be freely shared. Some wisdom must be approached with caution, humility, and respect. This lesson teaches us the importance of applying wisdom with integrity. As we begin to explore the deeper mysteries of life, we must ask ourselves, how are we using the knowledge we uncover? Are we using it for personal gain, or are we using it to uplift others and contribute to the greater good? The Watchers, in their quest for forbidden knowledge, ultimately caused chaos and destruction because they failed to understand the consequences of their actions. In contrast, the wise seeker understands that true wisdom is not just about acquiring knowledge, it is about using that knowledge for the betterment of all. To apply this wisdom in our lives, consider adopting a practice of reflection and mindfulness. Regularly ask yourself how your actions, decisions, and use of knowledge align with your higher purpose. Are you using your insights to foster love, compassion, and understanding, or are you allowing the ego to control your pursuit of wisdom? By staying grounded in humility and compassion, you can ensure that the knowledge you seek does not lead to destruction but to enlightenment. The Book of Enoch speaks of an impending judgment, an apocalypse that will purify the world and bring about the triumph of divine truth. While this apocalyptic vision may seem distant, it can also be understood as a metaphor for the inner transformation that each of us must undergo. The apocalypse is not just an external event, it is the shedding of the old self and the awakening to a higher state of being. To embrace this inner apocalypse, we must be willing to confront our shadows, our flaws, and our unconscious patterns. Just as the fallen angels were bound and cast out, so too must we release the parts of ourselves that are not in alignment with our higher nature. This process of spiritual purification is not easy, but it is necessary for those who seek to walk the path of hidden wisdom. To facilitate this process, engage in practices of self-inquiry and shadow work. Journaling, deep meditation, or guided visualization can help you uncover the parts of your psyche that need healing and transformation. As you confront and integrate these shadow aspects, you will experience a personal apocalypse, a cleansing of your old self, making way for the emergence of your true, divine nature. Finally, the Book of Enoch invites us to step into the role of the seeker and visionary. Enoch was not merely a passive observer, he was an active participant in the spiritual mysteries, chosen to receive and impart divine knowledge. In the same way, each of us is called to be a seeker, a person who questions, who seeks truth, and who is willing to look beyond the veil of ordinary perception. To cultivate this visionary aspect within yourself, begin to trust your intuition and inner guidance. Practice mindfulness in your daily life, and pay attention to the signs, symbols, and synchronicities that appear. These are the whispers of the divine, guiding you on your path. As you develop your inner vision, you will gain a deeper understanding of the mysteries of the universe and your own place within it. The Book of Enoch was not just a book of ancient wisdom, it is a timeless key to unlocking the mysteries of the universe and the depths of the human soul. Its teachings challenge us to embrace a higher level of consciousness, to confront the shadows within, and to seek knowledge that transcends the material world. While this knowledge may be hidden from the masses, it remains available to those who are ready to seek it. The Book of Enoch asks us to look beyond the surface of things, to question the established order, and to connect with the divine in ways that are personal, direct, and transformative. The wisdom it offers is both a blessing and a challenge, and it is up to each of us to decide how we will use it. As you reflect on the teachings of Enoch, ask yourself, are you ready to embrace the hidden knowledge of the cosmos? Are you prepared to walk the path of the seeker, the visionary, and the mystic? The answers lie within you, waiting to be uncovered, waiting to be revealed. Will you accept the invitation?